Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from SethMarkwood.com.
Together along with you, the three of us, we are Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again, and good morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer.
What's drinking here?
Rockstar X Durance Blue Raz. Pretty much pure caffeine.
Why do you drink this though?
Because it's pure caffeine, and I don't drink coffee.
You know, I
I wish I
heard
did.
I heard a guy on NPR recently, fascinating article that I heard on NPR.
Great
This
story.
guy has written an ebook, so he just went straight to, I think, audiobook actually, called Caffeine, and
300 milligrams.
and he was talking about the history of a coffee shop called Pete's.
Okay.
That was in San Francisco, and this guy was from Europe somewhere. Learned how, as a young man, learned how to roast coffee beans.
Okay.
Came to America in the 1960s. Maybe he came in the 50s, but was just appalled at the quality of coffee, the low quality of coffee that he could buy. And at the time, there was a particular bean that was being used. I think it was a Robusto, maybe? That's a cigar. Anyway, it was very bitter, and he understood was not roasted properly. So he started this place. His name was Pete, and he started this coffee shop called Pete's Coffee. And it is now a franchise. There's a number of locations. But the way this guy was telling the story, he not only was roasting his coffee in a unique way, that he would basically roast it low and slow to really bring the flavors out, but he started importing the Arabica bean that we now know from most of your higher end coffees, and he was very generous in helping people who wanted to get into the business and who wanted to learn how to roast coffee beans. And so much so that these three guys came down from Seattle and spent time with him, and he basically became their mentor, taught them everything that they knew when they went back to Seattle and started Starbucks.
Wow.
And this coffee shop still exists, and like I said, still a franchise. You can get Pete's Coffee at a number of restaurants. I know I like it whenever I run into it. I like Caribou. I do not care for Starbucks coffee, because to me it's over roasted. It's too dark. Well, they're normal. They're run-of-the-mill. They have a light roast as well. But anyway, this guy talked about how he, in writing this book, decided that he needed to get off of caffeine so he could experience caffeine for the first time again. And he had written a book on hallucinogenic drugs where he did acid. If I have the story correct, forgive me if I'm And he had described that. And he described the sensation of his first cup of coffee after that 3 months of no caffeine. And it's like someone describing color to you. I mean, it was just so well read. He was sharing this with the person that was interviewing him, and what an amazing experience it was, and that he immediately went home and organized his closet and did all this work and had a couple hours of high energy, and actually wanted to continue to experience that. So for a while he would only drink caffeine on Saturdays only, and then eventually he got to the point where he's back to the maintenance drug of choice.
Right.
But it was the ebook or the audiobook is called Caffeine. I haven't read it or heard it, but I heard this guy's interview and I thought, what a great storyteller. I love people that can tell a story well like that. Not like me telling it, but this guy telling it. Let's smoke something, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. Get it started. I did that for a time. I went about 4 months off of everything but water, drinking anything but water. And the very first time I drank something, it was Mellow Yellow, so high sugar and high caffeine. Didn't feel a change, and I'm not one bit. And I'm the type of person that thankfully doesn't have caffeine withdrawal either. And so when I drink this high caffeine, I barely can notice. I think it's No, I've had that experience with some of the 5-hour energies where I'll drink that and just crash actually. But no, I mean, you know, there's a change. I notice a little bit. I don't know how much of it is placebo. But the wonderful thing about placebo is it works even when you know it's placebo. So I'm all right with that. Today, by the way, we're smoking Pete's Legacy from 5th Avenue Cigars in Anchorage, Alaska. This was sent to us by Trout Whisperer for Tobacco Advent.
Part of the reason why Pete got stuck in my head. Hey, are you familiar with the YouTube channel Gas Station Encounters?
No.
Oh my goodness, you need to go down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
This guy works at a gas station.
I am actually. Yeah. I think so.
Okay.
People. Yeah. Go ahead.
Guy works at a gas station in Ohio, and people ripping him off. Yeah. And he's it's his family's business, and he started posting these videos to shame them. These closed circuit camera videos of them putting stuff down their pants and, you know, trying to pull one over on them. And it didn't take him too many videos till he realized that, hey, just posting videos of people stealing stuff isn't interesting. He started narrating it. And then he started writing songs. There were the very first one I saw that he was rapping. I'm thinking, oh, that you know, interesting rap that he's put together with this. Oh, the rap describes a guy wearing khaki shorts. That's interesting. Oh, the rap is describing the guy sticking Monster drinks down his pants. And so he's rapping. If you look at the videos, he'll say something parody. And so he does an AC/DC song parody. And there is some foul language when they confront the people. They're not using nice words. And sometimes they get away, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't know until later that they caught the guy stealing one thing, got him to pay for it, and only later realized he stole several things. There's one guy who sticks 5 sandwiches down his pants. They're funny. They're very funny. Gas station encounters.
The worst are the ones where they involve the kids.
Oh, there is at least one with the kid.
Yeah. Where
the guy hands the kid 2 energy drinks and kind of stands him behind him, and then when the guy turns his back, he has the kid run out.
I've seen one where mom
That's sad.
puts stuff in the kid's bag, backpack, and pockets. Yeah. Took like a whole bottle of wine out. Not cool.
Not cool at all.
Yeah, I have seen those. I don't know if it's the same guy, but I've seen.
There's a couple of
some
them
people that they're doing that. Same. There's a guy that's pretty prolific that runs a pawn shop, and has a video up, and almost always has a video of something interesting. Part of the video is something interesting that someone brings in, and the other part is someone trying to rip him off, and he shows the full conversation with the person where he's walking through, you know, what it is that they're you know, telling him that's wrong. And then oftentimes he'll kind of come back over and re-narrate and say, look, you guys, it's so many scammers out there, so easy to get ripped off. These are the things you need to look for.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah.
I will check that out. There's another channel that does the same thing, but I don't believe as well. And they share footage back and forth. So he'll say that, hey, this video is from our friends over at thus and such. He has their logo on the screen.
Nice.
But then he does a better job narrating it.
Yeah.
You have some stuff to show us. You actually pulled one of these out last week or a week before when you were talking about the size of the knife blades over in the UK.
Yeah. So you know, around Christmas time, since this is the first video we've had since Christmas. Really, this is the first time we've sat down to record. I want to show a couple of things I got with some Christmas money. One of these, the last thing I will show you, is something I've had my eyes on for a while, but it kind of led down a rabbit hole where you find one thing and you find other fun things. And so yeah, last week I showed this off. I just held it up for the camera. So this is a some of you may notice it. It's a very popular EDC knife or style knife. This would be a Benchmade bug out. you'll notice it's got a plastic or polymer handle, blade. It's got the traditional Benchmade release here, which allows for quick opening and closing with a single hand. Really like this knife. I didn't think I would. I've played with some from my friends. It's very incredibly lightweight.
Thin blade, and
almost nothing.
And these things that normally you would call scales, which would normally be on the outside of a metal body, they are the body. They're just plastic body parts. But I say a thin blade, that's still thicker than a lot of blades. But for that size, that's a thin blade.
For the knife itself, I mean, it's very lightweight, but very sturdy and solid. And so I said would be a Benchmade because this is a China special. This falls into the category of clone or copy. They copy to the letter. It comes in a Benchmade box. It comes with a Benchmade stamp on it. We have talked at length about that, about the stance on copies. This is a $130 knife. If you buy it from Benchmade.
So Benchmade did not lose a sale to you because you weren't going to buy it.
Not a chance. Not that I wouldn't love to have a Benchmade knife. So I went down a rabbit hole of reviews and a lot of people doing side-by-side comparisons between this and the Benchmade original. The one thing, it is a very, it's a very accurate copy. The one thing that this probably does not have, that the Benchmade has, is it probably has a lower quality steel. You can never verify that. This knife from AliExpress, Chinese shipping site, was $23 plus shipping. So $100 less expensive than the real version. I have friends who have the real version of this. I handed it to him. They said, "Oh, nice, you got a bug out," and he's playing with it. It's like, "Yeah, it's great." And I told him, it's a knockoff, and he was shocked. There are a few things that are less good about this. That's okay. As far as a everyday carry knife, I like the size of it. I like the weight of it, and it's a high enough quality. I don't buy $100 knives. I buy $20 knives. It's a pretty good $23 knife. I'm really pleased with it. I did have to loosen it a little bit and add some gun oil to it to get a quick release. It came pretty tight from the factory. I don't know what you even call it. I didn't buy it for the fact that it claims to be a Benchmade.
So there is a little bit of metal, but it only goes down to about here.
It's how it is connected to the handle. You can get aluminum handles for these knives. You can get replacement handles. So with this particular knockoff, I could get a official Benchmade handle if I wanted to. This is something I was talking to my friend who owns the legit version. Was saying, yeah, I'm not so sure about the handle. I think I'm going to get this one. He sends me a link. It looks nice. It looks very similar, but it's made with a higher quality plastic. The handle replacement that he wants to get is $40. So it's twice the price of the knife. And so I'm not going to cry if this breaks. I don't have a lifetime warranty if it breaks like a real Benchmade, but that's okay. This was a Christmas gift to me. This was one that I wasn't planning to buy. I didn't like it before. When I have played with it from my friends, I really like it now that I have it. And so it went down a rabbit hole on YouTube of some of these people comparing real to fake. People looking at just the quality difference and some of those. And so I wound up planning to buy one Benchmade knife, which again will be the last one I show you. Wound up with 4. So this is a version of the Benchmade Hunt. Again, quick release. It is a lot bigger than I thought it would be, but with the release, you can one hand open and close. I need to adjust this one a little bit. 2 hands that you used on that. I did. Well, it's a little bit touch and go. You really got to pull it and kind of slam it, and I'm always afraid of slicing my fingertip off.
Wow,
So
that's so much heavier.
It is. It's significant. That one was like $30. So both of these knives came from AliExpress. They took about a month and a half, almost 2 months to get to me. They came just fine. That one, I was not expecting that to be the size that it is. I didn't do the research there. I don't particularly like knives that are quite that big. Generally, this is more within the standard size. This one I really wanted. This was the second one I chose to get or wanted to get because this knife is has an aluminum handle, has a really unique blade style. This is I just really like this one. This is a $350 knife from Benchmade. So it has really steady, sturdy,
a Tonto, but not
sturdy steel in it. Again, like $35, $40. And then last, this was the reason why I went down this rabbit hole. This one came from Wish.com. If you've ever purchased from Wish, this was the first time for me. Wish just seems like another AliExpress, except it is so designed for a Gen Z audience. It's real flashy, and it looks like it's going to be a super scam. It was not. Price was fine. They do that trick where the pricing is really low, but the shipping is crazy high, and so wound up paying almost twice as much because of shipping versus the actual cost of the knife. But that came to me within almost like just a week and a half, 2 weeks. And so this is also, you can see similar size, really like this one. But this was the one I sought to buy. This is another $300 knife. So this is a Benchmade Infidel clone. And if you're not familiar with the Infidel, it is a OTF, or out the front blade. So this, the reason why I wanted to buy this, my cousin has purchased this from Wish.com, where I also purchased it. Also came in about 2 weeks, and it is a double action OTF.
Like the one that you 3D printed.
It's very much the same. It's clunky. It's big, but my cousin actually took his to a knife shop where they have an official Infidel, and asked the guy there. He thought maybe he got one off the back of a truck or something, because the quality is so good on this clone, and he asked the guy at the shop.
Got a U.S. patent number on it.
Yeah, and they're going all out. He asked the guy, is this legit? And the guy at the knife shop looked at it. He took out one of the legit ones. He said, yeah, I think it is. He asked him how much he got it for. He said $40. He said, no. Wow, you got a heck of a deal. Right, he left the knife shop convinced that he had gotten a legitimate Benchmade knife for $40. I sent him a video of a guy comparing them, and the guy, it's very minor differences between them. We're talking like on this one, the color of the stud here is different on the clones versus the real ones. That's enough of a difference. That little metal plate that you'd notice, it's slightly different on the inside of the Benchmade version. Slightly different.
I'm seeing rivets or pins that are connecting the button here.
Yeah.
And that's not a very clean.
It feels really big.
Finish there.
Right. That one feels. I imagine the real one is a smaller form factor.
How are these legal?
Good question. They're not in every place. In North Carolina, they are illegal to concealed carry. They are legal to carry open, and you can be. They're legal to own. There's always, just like having a lockpick kit, there's always that
you get caught with it,
subject to the law. Maybe questioned, and so. I've not done enough research. I've not done as much research on this as I thought I need to.
And unlike the movies, you cannot put this against somebody's abdomen and extend it. Right?
That's right.
This is going to stop. We need something that we can demonstrate that on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's spring loaded.
Just like your 3D one, you got to bring it back out.
So it's got a spring in it, and maybe even has two springs. the spring really, even though it jumps when you push it forward, it's only powerful enough to shoot that thing out, no obstructions. And so you're not going to flick it into somebody or into something. Now, once it's out, it's locked into place, and it's sturdy. It is also relatively sharp. It's not going to retract. You know, what I learned, if it's anything like the 3D printed one, it has basically a almost like a liner lock on both the front end and the back end. And so as you pull, the switch is actually pushing that liner lock out of the way to allow it to spring one way, and once it pushes all the way out, the liner lock on that end locks into place. And so when you push down, it's opening that up for it to spring back forward. And so, you know, for a $40 knife, it's so much fun. Like, it doesn't even have to function. It could be garbage. Like, the blade could be just made of nothing. This is what I bought it for. And it's smooth. It is strong. It requires a lot of force to open and close it. But it is so satisfying. So in North Carolina, you can carry these open carry, which if the gun law applies the same way, in North Carolina, you can open carry any gun that's legal to have. The rules for open carry is that enough of the gun must be visible to identify that it is a gun for you to not be concealing it. Okay. So if you have a gun, the way it was described in our concealed carry class, if you have a gun sitting on the seat of your car and it is partially covered, but what you can see underneath is a muzzle, or is part of a handle, if a police officer comes up and they can see by looking that it is a gun, it's not concealed carry. And so when carrying this, the way I have translated that is clip in the pocket, so that it's exposed, not whole knife in the pocket. And so, bought this one. Also was just screwing around on Amazon and ended up with a Smith & Wesson. I think this was like $12 from Amazon, and I was excited by this one because I've gotten into knife throwing in the last year or two. I think it might be fun to try as a throwing knife, and for the price, you can't beat it. It's pretty dull on the blade side.
What is that handle? Is it a composite?
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know what that is.
Pretty sturdy for a cheap knife. And so, as a guy who spends $150 on 4 knockoff knives instead of getting one good knife for the same money, I'm a knife guy. And so when I'm in a place like the UK and am told that people are terrified, when I mentioned to someone local that I had a knife on me, they freaked out. That's just such a foreign thing to me. Every bar that we went into had security guards standing out front. There's fear of knife violence. There's fear of people throwing acid. Living in North Carolina, where many people in North Carolina aren't even fearful of guns, because everyone knows 10 people that has a gun if they don't have one. The idea of being afraid of a knife is just so bizarre. So bizarre. So I can say the quality on these, if you're looking for a beater knife that's a little bit higher quality than what you can get at Walmart for $20.
Wish.com.
Wish.com. They came through. There's more stuff on there I'd be interested in buying. Also AliExpress, but again, AliExpress took an extra month and a half to get to me.
So I checked out Wish one time, or had hoped to. I followed a link from something that was on Instagram, and right off the bat, they wouldn't even let you explore the site without...
You have to set up an account.
You have to register. It's like, I'm just not interested in doing that because I don't know anything about them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody who's bought from them. So it's okay?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, my experience with it was exactly the same. I'd heard about it, wasn't interested. As soon as you get to that wall where you can't even see anything except for the advertisements on Facebook, without registering an account, I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested. And then I thought, what's the likelihood of getting scammed? There are tons of videos on YouTube of people that have bought things, and not all is always as it seems. Same thing with this. For every really good quality version of the product, there are 10 others that are selling really, really crappy versions using the same pictures. And I've had that experience with earbuds. So we'll talk about it. I use the Apple AirPods. They're great. Love them. Use them all the time for phone calls, for webinars, for music, for travel, all the time. They're $150. That's a lot of money for earbuds. And so I sleep listening to music. And one morning, I think it was my dog. It could have been a child. They always fall out of my ear when I'm sleeping. I listened with one. One morning, I woke up and found teeth marks on these very expensive earbuds. Ooh. So I went to AliExpress to find some wireless Bluetooth earbuds. They make a lot of them that look exactly like those. There are some that are really reputable knockoff brands that everyone talks about, but there are 40 sellers that sell the same brand of earbud, and I bought 2 of them from different sellers. One of them pretty good, the other one's just straight garbage. About the same price, pretty much the exact same pictures.
Do you look for like the number of purchasers and the star rating, or how do you determine which one's the legit fake one?
Yeah, you do that. So you look at the number of ratings, you look at reviews. Particularly, you want to do that. For a lot of these things, there's a pretty big audience market for a customer base for a lot of these things, and so you can find like those in particular. There's a whole subreddit dedicated to people looking for quality Chinese earphones, and so you go there, you find the ones everyone's talking about. They have recommended sellers basically, where you are more likely to get a higher quality product. Even then, it's not guaranteed because things change batch to batch. And what I have switched to on that front. Did you ever buy those, by the way?
I did.
You used them?
I have. They're fine. But the weird thing was, somehow or another, I don't even know how it happened. I was on AliExpress. I ended up buying from somebody who's Russian, and so all of the communication that's come since then has been in Russian. And if I click on the link, it takes me to a Russian version of AliExpress.
That's funny.
But I bought it all on AliExpress.
That's funny.
Yeah, weird.
Sorry, didn't finish the thought there. What I have started doing, when possible, is buying just true up Chinese, higher quality Chinese products. And so what I had recommended, I bought a pair of earbuds that are they're not trying to knock off anybody. They're just a brand.
A Chinese brand.
And they're $20. You can get them for like $30, 2-day shipping on Amazon, or like $18 and 4-week shipping from AliExpress. They're the Xiaomi, the Halo G1 earbuds. Really good Bluetooth earbuds for $20. I have.
Yeah, see, there's the order confirmation.
I have either overpacked this or got some crap down into it. It is so tight.
I've noticed you working on that.
I don't like it. So, we've talked about it before. Generally, I'm comfortable buying that stuff because I wasn't going to buy it otherwise. I've had great success with it. A lot of people, especially when you're looking at that, you would be surprised at how many teenagers are trying to buy Chinese AirPods so that they can flex at their school and show off their AirPod collection, right? And so they're always asking,
like,
well,
spinners.
Does it have this piece here? Does it come in an AirPod box, an Apple box? I don't care. That's not what I'm not buying it for the prestige of it all.
Some of the knockoffs of the Apple style are larger,
Mm-hmm.
so physically larger and would not fit your ear.
Mm-mm.
So I guess that's their way of trying to get around the intellectual property laws.
No, I think it's because they're really hard to make. They're really hard because they're small. They're really hard to make. What I have found, some of them, things to look out for. Most of them do not have a microphone. If they look like an AirPod, they don't have a microphone. Right now, a lot of the manufacturers have gone to the new AirPod Pro style. They're not going to have noise cancellation or a microphone. A lot of them, so if you need it for conversation, don't bother. And then just go with the other ones, the Halus. Also, many of them have LEDs inside of the plastic. And so when you turn it on, the whole earbud will flash from inside the plastic. And then sometimes those lights will even stay on. That's the crappy pair that I bought. Does that. And so if you're trying to sleep in it, it's not super great. Not super great to have the light flashing while you're sleeping. And then the microphone on that one is basically just a sticker on the bottom. It's not. There's nothing there because it's a very tight, compact form factor.
What's interesting about this and why anybody would be interested in these in the first place is the modern iPhone does not have a headphone jack. You got that silly lightning thing in the bottom, and if you need to charge your phone at night, then you have to buy a special dongle that would allow you to plug your headset as well as a charger into it. And Apple just made the commitment a couple years ago to get rid of the headphone jack and to push people to Bluetooth.
And it's worked.
And it has worked. It's funny because some of the other phone companies made fun of it and then dropped their headphone jack in their next generation of.
I was watching a video about this. MXKB, Marquez Brownlee, posted a video about this very thing just a week or two ago, where he pointed out that the AirPod, Apple's Bluetooth headphone division alone,
It's their share of
their
the market,
their
right?
AirPods, just their product line, right? The AirPod, AirPod 2, and AirPod Pro is an $8 billion per year company. That when you take it, if you took that and split it off into its own company, it would still be on the Fortune 500 list by itself.
Wow.
So, yeah, everyone's trying to get into the wireless earbud.
I watched that video too.
Did you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's great.
How do I know what I know?
It was yeah. Well, it was great. So what I found is on the plane ride back from London, 9-hour plane ride, I was sitting behind the wing and there was a lot of noise, a lot of ambient noise. And so I found that my AirPods were not powerful enough to block it out, really. I was kind of having to push in. And so I always have some cheap $15 Philips earbuds that have really good rubber or silicone plugs. I was plugging that into my phone. And the only time I was switching to my Bluetooth was when I had to plug it in to charge it.
So I'm going to be in Atlanta later this week, which by the time this video airs, it will have already passed, at a trade show for woodworkers. And one of the things I want to look at, there's a specific Bluetooth headset that's being used by a lot of YouTube makers because it's noise canceling and actually will block the decibel level where power tools are running. And that makes sense for me to have that. Now, probably would work on an airplane just fine as well.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely something in the shop because I'm using. They're usually hanging right here. Using these very uncomfortable earmuffs, and I'll put my earbuds up underneath that and then put that on, and then you get that it pushes the cord into your neck or into your head. It's not comfortable, so I'm definitely going to be looking at that.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll have some there, and hopefully they'll be on sale.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It'd be really nice.
Because they're not cheap.
What do those run?
$125, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, not bad. If from what I understand, they're good. They work. But I think that they're a big portion of this trade show is trying to connect brands with YouTubers, and so or influencers. And so I'm hoping that they'll have a good deal.
Yeah. Be nice.
And then I'll wear them on a YouTube channel.
All the time.
All the time.
Woodwishes.com.
Not happening. All right, hey, what do you think of the tobacco, boy?
I liked it. What of it I was able to smoke. It's having a really hard time.
Yeah, Trout Whisperer, you did us good on this one. Thank you so much. So again, that was Pete's Legacy from Fifth Avenue Cigars in Anchorage, Alaska.
So if you ever find
Be
yourself
sure
out
to
that way,
ask for it by name. Yeah, that's cool.
get some
All right.
coffee
Well,
at
thank,
Pete's.
thank you for sharing the knives. Those are some pretty
Yeah.
neat things. Can you link to these things or not?
Probably. I don't know. I don't know
Just
how
to make
Wish
it,
works.
well, if you could figure out
Yeah.
a way, if it's possible, we'll put it down in the Dooblydoo, because at least then we can go to the one that you bought, since
Yes.
it's reputable enough,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I can certainly do that. And certainly put the links for both Wish and AliExpress.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
And the earbuds too. The ones that I bought,
Yeah.
I'm happy with. What I need to do, because it came with 3 different size plugs, I need to change the little thing because they won't fall out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're a little too big for me.
So big. And I forget which one you bought. There are, you can find. I'll link to a YouTube channel as well. There's a guy who's got a really good channel. I think he is in Asia, and so he's getting like first looks at a lot of these things, and he does a very good job of comparing the features and sound quality and all these other things to the other ones that have kind of been top place.
Yeah.
The ones that you got are basically the top pick and have been for a year or two.
Well, what I can say about it is the sound quality is not equal to an Apple earbud
Right.
with a cord. It's not equal to that. However, there's no cord.
Right.
So it's got that.
3-4 hour battery life, battery charges
And the
in
case,
the
the case is a charger. So
That's
you
right.
charge the case, and then you snap them in. And they have little rare earth magnets built into them, so you get them close to the case and they jump in.
and snap into place.
Yeah, kind of cool.
So, yeah, and the speaker's okay
Yeah.
on those. So we'll link to those too.
It's all right. Okay, hey, thanks for joining us, sticking around to the very end. You're looking good. Hope you're doing well, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. I don't know what our schedules are going to allow.
Yeah, we'll
but
try for it.
We got a couple weeks in the can anyway, so
All right. Thank you guys.
make it
See
a
ya.
great week.